Hello, whisperers. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy tonight's tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps more than you know. Now, dim the lights, and let's begin tonight's story. You ever hear something so wrong it makes the trees feel taller? That's what it felt like the first time I heard it. One long whistle, cutting through the woods like it was looking for me. Not just any whistle either. This one curved, like someone trying to mimic a tune they didn't quite understand. No footsteps, no rustling, just that sound, and the feeling that every branch had bent toward me, listening. I was 16 the first time I went up there alone, deep Appalachia, somewhere between Bluefield and a map nobody updates anymore. My uncle had land, real backwoods stuff tucked behind logging trails and no trespassing signs that the locals ignored because they were too scared to enforce them. Before I left, my uncle gave me one rule. Don't whistle after dark, he said, not even to yourself, not even if you're lost. He wouldn't explain why, just stared out the window like he was watching something long gone. I thought it was a joke, old-timer folklore, backwoods weirdness. I whistled anyway. 3 notes. That's all it took. Just 3 dumb little notes while I was setting up my tent. Something answered. Not right away. No, it waited. Waited until the fire went out, until the moon dipped behind the ridge, and I was all alone in the quiet. Then it started. A single whistle. Low, curious, close. I didn't sleep that night, and I never went back, but I think it followed me. So if you're thinking of heading up into those mountains, camping, hiking, even just passing through, I'm begging you, listen to these tips, burn them into your memory, because once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Tip 1, don't whistle after dark. It sounds harmless, doesn't it? Whistling. Maybe it's a nervous habit. Maybe you're trying to stay calm while walking the trail back to camp. Maybe you're just trying to fill the silence because the woods get quiet up there. Not peaceful quiet. The kind that makes your ears ring. The kind that makes you realize how loud your own breath is. That's when people do it. Just a quick tune, 4 or 5 notes, something familiar. The whistler doesn't care what song you pick. It's not listening for melody. It's listening for invitation. Locals say whistling after dark is like knocking on the wrong door and then standing there too long. You might not hear anything at first, but later when the fire's low and your nerves settle, you'll catch it. Faint, off-key, distant, but moving. One long, dragging note that doesn't sound like it came from lungs. Just air through something dead. I've heard stories, hell, I've seen people who swore they only whistled once. A split second of forgetfulness. One guy said it was reflex. He found a cool rock and let out a quick tune like he used to as a kid. By sundown, he couldn't stop hearing it. In the wind, in the brush, right behind him. He made it out, but he never spoke again. Just rocks in a jar and scribbled warnings on his cabin walls. And one word carved over and over into the wood above his door. Don't whistle back. So if you're out there and the dark starts pressing in, keep your lips shut, because the whistler doesn't need a map, just a sound. Tip 2. If you hear 2 whistles, you're between them. 1 whistle is bad. 2 whistles, that means you're already surrounded. It's an old mountain saying, between the whistles, you're already dead. Most folks assume it's poetic, a warning, but the ones who really know the land, they say it literally. They say it like a fact. See, the whistler doesn't travel alone. Not exactly. Some say there's more than one. Others say it splits, makes a copy of itself, like mist curling off cold water. But whatever the truth is, hearing 1 whistle means it's close. Hearing 2 means you're caught between things that know where you are and don't want you to leave. I met a ranger once, retired, missing an ear and part of his jaw. Said he got turned around on a late patrol, heard a whistle up ahead, thought it was a hiker messing around. Then he heard another behind him. Short, shrill. He said the space between those 2 whistles felt wrong, like the trees weren't in the same place anymore, like he was walking through a memory that didn't belong to him. When he ran, the ground got soft, the stars went out, and something whispered, but not with a mouth. He made it out, but not whole. Said the worst part wasn't the pain. It was knowing the second whistle hadn't come from behind him. It had come from above. So if you're walking through the woods and hear 1 whistle, stop. If you hear a second one, don't look back. Don't speak. Don't even breathe too loud, because you're not walking the trail anymore. You're in its hunting ground now. Tip 3. Don't trust locals who say, it's just the wind. You'll hear it eventually, someone brushing it off. Oh, that. Just the wind whistling through the holler. It's the trees. They groan when they settle. My granddaddy said it was bobcats. Sound just like a scream. They'll say anything but the truth. That's how folks survive up there. Not by acknowledging what lives past the tree line, but by pretending it doesn't. Pretend hard enough, and maybe it leaves you alone. Maybe, but there's always one. One old-timer who doesn't play along. One bartender who goes quiet when you mention the whistling. One woman at the gas station who won't sell you matches after dusk. And if you press them, if you ask too many questions, they'll stop looking you in the eye, like they already see the shape of you missing from tomorrow. I asked a man once, mid-70s, leaned heavy on a cane made from mountain ash, said his nephew vanished near Pine Hollow while hunting. All they found was a tree split down the middle and a trail of blood that never hit the ground. I asked if he thought it was an animal attack. He laughed, sharp and bitter. Wind don't carry a tune, son, he said, and trees don't learn your name. Then he told me to leave town before sunset. Wouldn't say why. Just handed me a dog-eared Bible with a whistle-shaped burn mark on the back cover. So if a local shrugs it off, if they smile too quick when you ask, they're not protecting you. They're protecting themselves. Because if the whistler knows someone's talking about it, it might decide to listen. Tip 4. camp near water, but never too close. Water's your friend, but it's also a mirror, and the Whistler loves mirrors. See, running water messes with it. Something about movement it can't predict. The locals say it won't cross a stream unless it's standing still. Flowing water, real mountain current, throws it off. But standing water, lakes, ponds, calm creeks, that's where it waits. I spent a night by a river bend once, far enough out of town that you could see every star in the sky. Set up my tent maybe 30 yards off the water, just close enough to wash up, not close enough to see my reflection. That saved me. Because sometime around 2 a.m., I heard a whistle echo across the water. Long, clear, followed by another from the other side. And the worst part? They were mimicking each other. I unzipped the tent just a little, saw something across the riverbank standing perfectly still. Too tall, too thin. Its mouth never moved, but the sound kept coming. One long breath across something hollow. And then the water rippled. Not from wind, not from fish. Just one long, slow step that didn't belong. I threw dirt on the fire and stayed quiet until sunrise. Camp near water if you have to, but if the surface is still enough to see your face, you're camping with something else too. Tip 5. Watch for scarecrows in the woods. There shouldn't be scarecrows in the forest, but you'll find them anyway, tied between trees, standing in clearings where no crops ever grew, sometimes wearing coats that look too new for the wind to have frayed. They're not for birds, they're not for people, they're for it. Some locals build them as warnings, placeholders to keep the Whistler from noticing them, like throwing meat to a wolf and praying it's enough. Others say the scarecrows are sacrifices. You leave them out with a bit of your scent, and you sleep a little safer that night. But here's the part nobody says out loud. The scarecrows move, not fast, not while you're looking, but you'll pass one, then double back later and it's facing the other way, or gone, or closer. If you see a scarecrow in the woods, take a mental snapshot, where it's facing, what it's wearing, how far it is from the trail. Then leave immediately, because if it wasn't there yesterday, then you're not supposed to be there either. Tip 6. Record the whistling, but never play it back. A friend of mine once thought he could prove it was real. Brought gear, mics, recorders, cameras with night vision. He got the sound, played it back for me in his car while we sat at a Waffle House parking lot an hour from the ridge. It didn't sound the same. In the woods, the whistling is breathy, organic, almost curious. On tape, it was sharper, like teeth behind a flute. But worse than that, it changed. The second time he played it, the tune was different, slightly. The third time the background changed. Less wind, more whisper. A fourth, and it played something we hadn't heard at all. His own voice, whistling it back. He deleted it, too late. 3 nights later, he texted me at 2:13 a.m. All it said was, "It's playing the tape back through the trees." We never found him. You can record the whistling. You will want proof. But if you value your life, never listen to it again, because what plays back isn't just sound, it's invitation. Tip 7. Firelight keeps it away at first. There's a myth in the mountains that fire protects you. And sure, when the flames are high and the light is steady, it feels safe. You can see your surroundings. You can hear the crackle. The dark stays pushed back. But fire doesn't scare the whistler. Not really. It just distracts it. I sat around a fire once with 2 other hikers. We told stories, drank cheap whiskey, laughed too loud. We thought we heard something in the woods, just a single note, barely there. We threw more wood on the fire, and that's when I saw it. A shadow, maybe 10 feet beyond the light. Tall, unmoving, not hiding, just watching. The whistling started again, softer this time. It was learning our cadence, matching it to the rhythm of the crackling logs. Then the fire popped, and all 3 of us froze. The whistle answered the pop, like it was part of the song. We didn't sleep, just kept feeding the flames until sunrise. Here's the thing about fire. When it dies fast. And if you fall asleep before it does, it keeps whistling, and you won't wake up fast enough. Tip 8, never whistle back. This one should be obvious, but panic does strange things. You hear it out there, mimicking a tune, calling out in bursts, and your brain wants to respond, wants to say, I hear you, wants to shout back just to make it stop. Don't. One camper told me he did it by accident, slipped on a rock and let out a startled whistle as he caught himself. The whistling that followed was perfect. Same tone, same length, same panic. He kept walking, didn't speak. But every time he stepped too hard on a stick or kicked a stone, that same whistle echoed back. He tried to trick it, whistled a tune he'd just made up, something weird, nonsensical. The whistler repeated it perfectly and then added a new note. That's how he knew it was learning. When I found his tent 2 days later, it was shredded, but the dirt around it had a pattern, like footsteps in a circle, and musical notes scratched into the soil. It doesn't just mimic, it composes. Tip 9. If you see eyes in the trees, don't move. This is the last warning you get. Sometimes, just before it shows itself, the whistler watches, not from behind trees, inside them, up high, nestled between branches like some kind of bird with too many joints. Its eyes reflect like animal eyes, but they don't blink. They sway, like they're breathing with the wind. If you spot them, don't run. Movement gives it permission. Running says, I know you're there. That's all it needs. You stand still, no breathing, no twitching. Let it think. It made a mistake. And if you feel that pressure in your chest like you're being stared through, you are. Don't cry, don't blink, and for the love of God, don't whistle. Tip 10, if you make it out, don't talk about it. Here's the final tip, maybe the most important. Don't tell anyone. Don't write about it. Don't post about it. Don't sit around a campfire trying to spook your friends, because the whistler doesn't just hear sound, It hears memory. It remembers who talks, who shares, who brings its name down from the hills and drags it into the light. The people who make it out and speak, they don't last long. Weird accidents, disappearances. One guy in Kentucky posted his whole experience online, described it in detail, got 500,000 views in 2 days. His account went silent after that. The post is still there, but the last comment, just a single word: whistle. I wasn't going to say anything. I really wasn't, but it followed me. And if it's after me, maybe it'll leave you alone. So, this isn't a warning. It's a trade. My voice for your silence. I think it's outside again. I hear it most at night. Between 2 and 3 a.m. Just one note, always the same. Long, slow, patient, like it's waiting for me to forget the rules. Maybe I already did, by saying all this out loud. Maybe this recording is the last mistake I get to make. But maybe, just maybe, you'll hear this in time. Don't ever whistle